We're going to call the meeting to order. If everyone stands for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, welcome everyone. We're going to get through a couple things before we get you ladies up. So first off is our good news section. All right, so we have from Dr. Krein, our principal at middle school. We are so proud of the many students who completed at Tech Wars back in March. We won first place for the third year in a row. Thank you to our tech teachers for supporting and inspiring our students to compete. From Mr. Kessler, our principal at JK, a thank you to Danielle Worth for all of the work she does leading our SEL committee. She helps us organize all of our school family meetings, student incentive programming, and staff pick-me-ups. Her leadership is much appreciated. And from Mrs. Nataro, our principal at Jackson, Ashley, is it Fouth has been fantastic with hiring procedures. She's responsive and organized. She is so kind and helpful. Thank you very much, Ashley. And let's see, we have from Allison Chul, English teacher at the high school. Beth Zaccardi needs a shout out. She works tirelessly every day, and despite the sometimes chaotic nature of an AP office, she always has a smile on her face. Super efficient and always on top of things. That kind of dedication should not go unrecognized. And many thanks to Mrs. Zaccardi. How do you pronounce that? Zaccardi, all right. I'm not screwing up their names and getting in trouble here. All right, from Mrs. Fix, UPK teacher at Robert Morris, we have a very special lady in the cafeteria at Robert Morris. Rose Marie Lester is in her 90s and happily greets the children in the lunch line. She even notices what things are their favorite and has conversations with them about making sure to eat all their lunch. She knows so many of the children by name and misses them when they are absent. In the photo below, this little guy has some grumpy days, and lunch is sometimes something that he looks forward to every day because of Rosie. She gives him special attention and makes him feel so happy and loved. Many of us here at Robert Morris appreciate and love Rosie so much. All right, and one more from Mrs. Chua. Congratulations to the Chua's Connections class that is made up of Gorton and Keller students. Our school newspaper is complete, and the Daily News is printing copies for distribution for us. Wonderful collaboration between the class and the members of the student body, faculty, staff, and our city historian. Special thank you to Marchese Computers, who sponsored the printing of the Connections newspaper. All right. And we appreciate those good news each and every single month. Next up, we're going to move into our budget hearing presentation by Mr. Smith, our superintendent.
Okay, thank you, board members, and welcome to our public and staff right here. This is the required budget presentation, of course. The board has been working on this since January. So by law, this is the official budget hearing and presentation for voters to be presented to them next Tuesday, along with 2 board candidate seats. I want to first recognize the work that Dr. Corey and Mr. Lang have done with me in this process. The process began in January. Our principals began a meeting back in November. Also, thank you to our board. The presentation that had gone on since January, and we've arrived at a budget to share this week to our voters. Timeline, we're right on track. We're on May 11th. We've had one workshop, several budget meetings. We looked at different topics in the budget, and that brings us to this evening with the budget presentation and propositions are being officially shared for the public. The vote being next Tuesday, which we'll talk about at the end of the presentation. Start with, I always like to share this example. Board members have seen this before. dating myself to when we were children, back when we were allowed to have teeter-totters. Remember the teeter-totter days, kindergarten teachers, right? So the goal of the teeter-totter, at least from my recall, was to have the teeter-totter balance, right? It's not on one side higher than the other. I like to make that analogy with a budget. We want to have a budget that obviously is right for our students and also fiscally responsible for our taxpayers and for our public. That's what we have here for you tonight, and try to get the teeter-totter to be just balanced with one side not being heavier than the other. And it's not an easy task. Lots of details, lots of planning, lots of decisions to make that go in that process. It's important to also share what we have in our school district that is not mandated. The list there is exhaustive. I can go through all of them, but I've shown a couple of pictures there. We have our students that travel overseas every year. This is the last trip they took. Our music program in the top right, and a list of items in there as well. Transportation, kindergarten is not required. Of course, it's important. UPK, school play and our musical, school counselors. Eli's very involved in a number of those pieces. Our social workers, link crew for our freshman orientation, our technology. All these pieces are not mandated, that are part of the budget. The list goes on. Our GCC courses, our athletic and extracurricular offerings, tech programs. The tech program always does well at the competitions, our SROs. So all these pieces have been built into the budget, and we're ready to share with them for our voters next Tuesday. So the revenue, where does the money come from? This shows the current year we're in on the far left, the budgeted, and then the proposed for the 26-27. You can see the increases there. The amount of revenues, long story short, is just over $66 million. There's been some increases in state aid, and property tax. We're going to talk about taxes in a minute. Taxes will estimate 2% levy increase. Fund balance has increased, and other revenue is showing a slight decrease in there, so revenue up about just under 5%. The board always lets you know the estimated tax impact with a 2% levy increase. This is showing the value of a $100,000 home and $200,000 home, the 2% levy increase. And you can see the three comparisons in the city, town, and town of Stafford, and what it means for a home at a value of $100,000 and $200,000. That's the impact of the tax levy. The tax cap is just under 3%. The board could have gone that high. I think it's 2.8 exactly. The board has elected to go out at 2% to our public next Tuesday. Another way of looking at the revenue, about just over half of our revenue comes from state aid. About 5% comes from other revenue, fund balance and reserves. That's essentially our savings account. The analogy I like to make there, we don't want to pay our gas bill with our savings account. We try to operate our school budget like we operate our home budget. We don't pay for our savings account, our national fuel bill with our savings account, and then 32% of the revenue comes from our taxpayers. Another way of looking at it again, just over $56 million is broken down further into general support, instruction, transportation, employee benefits. Of course, the big driving factor this year is health insurance, going up 30%. So a huge driving factor for all of us to be thinking about. That falls under benefits. Debt service is essentially what I call our mortgage payment, our capital project expenses. Inter-fund transfers is a regular item we have there as well. Again, just over $66 million, so about a 4% increase in revenues. Okay, expenditures, where does the money go? Let's see if we can that's another way of looking at it as well, about like 11% towards general support. Debt service is about 4%. Employee benefits, again, the increase there with the health insurance, and then transportation. And then we break it down into three-part: administrative, program, and capital. I always want to see the dollars going to program because that affects kids directly. So 76 cents for every dollar we spend is going towards our schools, extracurriculars, athletics, academics, all those pieces that I showed you at the start. There's a budget summary. The budget to budget increase, the fourth line down, is just under 5%. The number is $56 million. It's an increase of $2.8 million. The tax levy is just over $21 million. The maximum allowable levy increase is $591,000. We're proposing $415, which is 2%. So the tax levy is below the maximum allowable tax levy increase, which is 2.8%, which is a formula that we showed the board back in January. There are 2 ballot propositions. There's a budget itself, which will be on the ballot next Tuesday, and we have 3 candidates running for 2 board seats. Alice-Ann Benedict and Barbara Bowman are going to finish their terms and not run again. And we have 3 candidates running that will be on the ballot next Tuesday. In alphabetical order, they are Katrina DeGennaro Hansen, Zach Roselius, and Matt Warren. Here are the details. A couple of changes. People that normally vote at Robert Morris will be going to John Kennedy this year. Anybody north of Route 5 is going to come to John Kennedy. Anybody south of Route 5 is going to be coming to the high school. The times are from 11 to 8. Details for the budget itself are on the website. And any questions? Questions? Hearing none, this concludes the budget hearing. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. First off, do we have any public to be heard relating to the budget?
We do not.
All right. So as we enter into our regular meeting, we just need a motion to close our budget hearing, our public budget hearing. Do I have a motion? Motion by Dan. Do I have a second?
Second.
By Corinne. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now, our public to be heard matters not relating to the budget. I believe we have Ms. Helen Engelhardt to start.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You want me to stand here?
Wherever you're comfortable.
Then be in the hallway, sir. My name is Helen Engelhardt. Would you like me to spell my last name?
No, we have it on the agenda.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm a legal guardian and grandparent of a student of Batavia School District. I'm here tonight because bullying in our schools is harming students emotionally, socially, and academically. Students are being bullied because they are poor. Students are being bullied because they don't wear brand names clothing. And students are being bullied, because their parents struggle with addiction. My grandson, his parents struggle with addiction. I've had my grandson for the last 10 years, amongst other children. He also has an IEP. He receives SSI because he does have other health impairments. But no child should be ashamed, for their family situation. No child should be ashamed for their disabilities or, if they're poor. School should be a safe place for these students. And not only my student, but all the students that come here. My student has been physically bullied in Batavia City Schools the last couple times. He's had 2 concussions. He's been thrown in front of a school bus. The school bus was parked, but he was thrown in front of it by this group of other students. My student does not tell me when he is being bullied because he doesn't want me to worry. When I ask him why he doesn't report this to the teachers, to the principal, because he says snitches will get stitches. I had numerous meetings with the school staff. They're amazing, by the way. The high school staff, great bunch of people, but their hands are basically tied. They can't do any more than they're doing. Bullying affects many areas of my child's life. Emotional well-being, sense of safety. Just coming to school, he's scared to ride his bike to school because he gets attacked sometimes riding his bike to school. He cannot ride the bus because the bullies are on the bus. He will not ride the short bus because he doesn't want people to pick on him for his IEP or his disabilities. We need schools to be safe for children, and not only my children, other children. All children should feel safe in schools. As you all know, New York State does have the Dignity for All Students Act, and I just want, this
to, you know, go forth for all these kids, because school shouldn't hurt. School shouldn't hurt. And, you know, I ask you to provide accountability when people, or excuse me, when the bullies are repeatedly bullying other children. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we can't give you an immediate resolution today.
I know that, sir. Thank you.
But what I think we can do is ask Mr. Smith to follow up on it on behalf of the board. We'll follow up with you as well. I think Carla probably has your contact information.
She does.
So we can ask Mr. Smith to follow up on it, not only with you, but as us as a board as well. And I think what we can give you today is an apology as well. You know, like you said, no student should feel that way in our district. And, you know, and no parent should feel this either. And we appreciate you coming in and speaking to us today. And we'll have Mr. Smith follow up with you after tonight as well.
Well, unfortunately, it's not just my student. There's lots of students being bullied. And if I can help in any way, please reach out to me.
Excellent. We appreciate it. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Can I leave now? Thank you so much, everybody.
Have a great evening.
You as well.
All right, our next group up is our amazing kindergarten crew, and I think, Michelle, are you leading the way?
I am not.
No?
Actually.
I am.
All right.
Carla has your order.
Carla's got the order? All right, well then I'll sit here in silence and let Carla run the show.
Good evening, members of the board, staff, everyone that is here tonight. My name is Debbie Wolf, and I have been teaching in our district for 27 years. 26 years have been at kindergarten. I'm here tonight along with my colleagues, representing the entire kindergarten teaching team. We are here because we believe this Board of Education and the community needs a very clear understanding of what is truly happening with the Robert Morris transition. The narrative presented is that we are simply moving a grade level to a new building to create an early childhood learning center. However, as the educators on the front lines, we must be clear, this is not just a move. It is a systematic elimination of the kindergarten experience and the specialized supports that have defined Batavia's success for decades. Under the current proposal, we're not just changing buildings. We are losing a full-time classroom section and a certified teacher, which effectively eliminates our ability to provide a dual blended model for our students. We are losing an academic special education, a 12-1-1 classroom for students at this grade level, effectively narrowing our continuum of services. We are losing our school-wide library and our media center classes, along with art and music classes for our kindergarten students. We are losing the full-time teacher aides that ensure our students are safe. And we are losing the specialized academic intervention support, our AIS teachers in both reading and math, at the exact age where intervention provides the highest return on our investment. This plan effectively strips the learning out of the learning center. It reduces a major grade level transition to a series of budget cuts that directly impact students' safety, legal compliance, and their academic growth. Tonight you will hear from my wonderful colleagues who will speak to you to the specific legal and safety risks of these reductions, the long-term developmental impact of losing the arts, the fiscal consequences of cutting early intervention, and the essential components our team has identified to ensure this transition achieves the excellence that our community expects. We are standing here together as a unified team because we truly care about this district and our children. We are asking the board to please look past the word reconfiguration and see this plan for what it is, a profound reduction in the services that our children deserve. Please listen to our experts in the room as we outline a better path forward for our youngest learners. Just the ladies that you see standing here, we have a total combined years of teaching of over 220 years. Under the current proposal, we're not just changing buildings. We're losing a classroom section and a certified teacher, which will increase the numbers in the classrooms. We're losing an academic special education classroom at 12-1-1, and our school-wide library and media center classes, art, music, and library programs, and our full-time teacher aides in our classroom who are imperative. And the critical academic intervention services, our AIS teachers in both reading and math. And we thank you all for your time and consideration tonight.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Eileen Peterson, and I have been teaching for 23 years and at BCSD 420. As we move toward the Robert Morris reconfiguration, our goal is to ensure this transition is a model of inclusive excellence. However, a model is only as strong as its foundation. Currently, the plan to remove the self-contained 12-1-1 kindergarten option before the conclusion of the CSE season presents a significant legal and professional risk. We are deeply concerned that the current plan risks dismantling our continuum of services, both for our students with disabilities and for those who rely on our MTSS framework for success. New York State Part 200 requires that the district maintain a full continuum of services. By removing the self-contained option now, we risk the appearance of predetermination. Placement decisions must be dictated by individual student data and committees, not by administrative or building structures. If the CSE determines a student requires a 12-1-1 setting this summer, and that setting no longer exists in our district, we are out of compliance on day one. Furthermore, we must consider the stay put mandate. If a parent disagrees with a move to a less restrictive environment, the district is legally obligated to maintain the current setting. And without a self-contained room at Robert Morris, the district lacks the physical space and staffing to fulfill these mandates, inviting costly and preventable due process complaints. We are asking the board to preserve the 12-1-1 option to protect the district's legal standing and, more importantly, to ensure our most vulnerable students receive the specific and special environment their IEPs require. Thank you so much.
Good evening, board members. My name is Lisa Sheepnick, and I've been teaching at the Batavia City Schools for 27 years. I am here to discuss the critical safety and the instructional implications of providing only 6 full-time teacher aides for 8 kindergarten sections. To understand why this reduction is so concerning, we must look at the dual role of a kindergarten aide plays. They are our essential partners in instruction, allowing us to reach every child during small group centers, and they are the additional guardians of student safety during high-stakes transitions of the school day. In the classroom, aides are what make a learning center actually function. They help facilitate the small group literacy and math centers that allow us to differentiate instruction for 20 diverse learners. They provide the one-on-one reinforcement that helps a struggling student catch up. When we lose an aide, we don't just lose a pair of eyes. We lose the ability to provide the individualized attention that these children need to meet the grade level standards. Beyond the classroom, our teacher aides manage the safe movement of over 160 5-year-olds throughout our halls and cafeteria, where extra eyes are vital to prevent emergencies and manage student dysregulation. When a student has a bathroom incident or an illness or an emotional escalation, which are daily occurrences at the age of 5, they require immediate adult assistance. Without a dedicated aide in the room, teachers are forced into an impossible operational bind. This leads to a fundamental shift in our role. We are forced to move from being educators to being first responders. When a teacher's attention is divided between an individual crisis and a full classroom, the safety of the entire group is compromised and the learning in our learning center stops. We cannot close the achievement gap if our primary role is to triage rather than teaching. Furthermore, our pre-K programs are mandated to have 2 adults at all times to ensure safety and developmental support. The idea that a child's needs fundamentally disappear the moment they turn 5 is a fallacy. Moving to a model where many kindergarten classrooms will have 0 dedicated support at times is developmentally inappropriate. We have been here before. In the year 2023-2024 school year, this board listened when we documented an increase in safety incidences following aide removals. You reinstated the aides to restore the safety of our classrooms. Removing them again now during such a major transition is a step backward. We are asking the board to maintain the standard you previously set. Please ensure that every kindergarten classroom has full-time aid support. Let's prioritize student safety and instructional integrity over budgetary convenience. And thank you for listening, and thank you for your time.
Hi, I'm Melissa Mattice. I've been a teacher in the Batavia City School District for 26 years. And while safety is our absolute baseline for an early learning center, it also must be quality. It also must be defined by the quality of the experience we provide within those safe walls. Although the communication has been suggested that all academic and extracurricular programs are being preserved, the current proposal for our youngest learners, it does not show that. It represents a significant departure from that message. I'm here tonight to address the devastating shift in the daily experience, the proposed elimination of art, music, and library from the kindergarten curriculum. Under this plan, physical education would be the only remaining special throughout the school day. For more than 50 years, we have provided the fine arts for our youngest learners. These subjects are not extras, they're not luxuries, they are essential components of a high quality early education. In kindergarten, children are building the foundation for their future learning. Art and music foster the creativity, the self-expression, the confidence that children need in order to take academic risks. Developmentally, these programs are not negotiable. Through drawing, singing, rhythm, children develop these fine motor skills by listening to the necessary primary elementary education things. Music and instruction are in particular are supporting of the memory and the phonemic awareness that are connected to reading success. Art is related to the problem solving and the perseverance required for early mathematical thinking and cognitive growth. These subjects also provide vital opportunities for children, helping 5-year-olds develop social skills such as sharing and empathy. Equally vital is library time. It nurtures the support and love of learning, and it's the foundation of literacy for all research skills. For many of our students, school library has access to ensure the opportunity for the kids to discover books that they may not ever have the opportunity otherwise to see. Regular exposure to books in the library builds vocabulary, comprehension that are all critical for long-term success. Removing these programs risks narrowing the educational experience for the children at the exact moment where they benefit most from the hands-on and exploratory learning. I ask you to think about your children for a moment. What did they most look forward to during the school day? How did they feel about art, music, library? Did they look forward to those specials? I know from my students, and I know from my own children, they look forward to those things every single day. And often, research continually shows that students who are engaged in the arts demonstrate stronger academic performance. They have improved attendance, and it increases their motivation to learn. As we establish the Early Learning Childhood Center, we urge you to reconsider the decision and preserve these essential programs. Our children deserve the rich, balanced education that supports their growth in every dimension. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Deborah Maselli. I've been teaching in Batavia for 23 years. Everything we've discussed tonight, from the safety and legal compliance to the creative growth of our students, is part of a larger fiscal picture for Batavia. I want to speak to the shared goal we all have in this room, the long-term success of students in the Batavia School District. We recognize that as a board, you are tasked with making difficult decisions to balance the needs of our students with the constraints of the budget, and we appreciate the transparency you have shown throughout this transition. In education, we often talk about the return on investment. Data shows that high-quality early education provides a return of roughly $8.60 for every $1 spent. This represents a cost-saving reality of addressing needs early. Conversely, when we underfund these foundational years, we inadvertently create a remediation debt. Saving a salary today only guarantees significantly higher costs for specialized services and academic recovery in later grades. Data suggests that without targeted support at age 5, small gaps in phonemic awareness or self-regulation often become permanent barriers by the 3rd grade. Central to our work in Batavia is our multi-tiered system of support, or MTSS. We are proud of this framework because it ensures that no child falls through the cracks. However, for this system to work, the tiers must physically and instructionally exist. While it is true that Tier 2 support can be and is provided by classroom teachers through small group instruction, we must be clear. In a classroom of 20 students with diverse needs, teacher-led Tier 2 is simply not enough. Without dedicated academic intervention services or AIS teachers, the MTSS process loses its depth. We are left with a system where classroom teachers is stretched to provide both core instruction and intensive intervention simultaneously. By removing AIS teachers in reading and math for kindergarten, we lose the ability to provide the specialized Tier 3 support and reinforce Tier 2 interventions that our most vulnerable learners require. 8 rooms might fit the bodies, but they cannot facilitate the instruction required to close the achievement gaps if the ratio and lack of specialized staff prevents us from reaching every child. We view these services as a wise investment that reduces the need for much more costly remediation later. Together with our administration and Board of Education members, we want to work to ensure this early learning center lives up to its name and provides the highest possible return for our children and our community. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Restivo. I've been teaching at BCSD for 21 years. Tonight, our team has shared the legal foundations, the safety standards, and the developmental building blocks that make a kindergarten program thrive. We recognize that while the physical capacity for a 9th section of kindergarten exists within the Robert Morris building, the current plan utilizes an 8-section model. Our focus tonight is ensuring that those 8 sections are strategically set up for success from the very first day. To reach that success, we are advocating for a model that puts student needs first. It's about making certain that every one of those 8 sections is staffed to provide the highest level of instruction and care for our students. Our proposal is built on 3 essential pillars. First, we must maintain a 1-to-1 aide to classroom ratio. With 8 sections of kindergarten, the standard for success is 8 full-time aides. These professionals are the absolute baseline for student safety and instructional integrity. By providing every classroom with this dedicated support, we allow our teachers to focus on their primary mission, high-quality instruction. Second, we're advocating for the preservation of a full continuum of services, anchored by a dedicated academic 12-1-1 kindergarten classroom. This classroom is an essential foundation for those who need the most support. By providing a specialized small group setting, we make sure every children can effectively learn. This fulfills our legal duties and guarantees our most vulnerable learners are given the intensive support they need to thrive. Third, we must restore our academic foundation. We need our AIS teachers for academic support and our fine arts and library teachers for enrichment. Together, they ensure that small learning gaps don't become permanent barriers. Without this full support team, we risk opening a learning center in name only. We recognize the difficult decisions that this board faces, but as the educators who work with these children every day, we know that the staffing model is the path to the excellence we all want for Batavia. We ask the board to utilize the kindergarten team as a professional resource as you finalize the implementation of this transition. Let's ensure that when those doors open in September, we are delivering on the promise of an early childhood learning center that is safe, compliant, and rich with opportunity. Thank you for your leadership and for your continued commitment to our children.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Any comments, questions from the board? No? We appreciate all the feedback, information you guys have given us today. It's something that we can definitely discuss again with Mr. Smith and our leadership. And I'd also like to get some feedback from Jessica. I think she's still trying to work on some plans, my understanding, so I think it would be a good opportunity to include her in some conversation as well. But we appreciate coming in and giving us this information tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that it for public to be heard?
It is.
All right, we will move right on. And that brings us to Eli.
Speaking of kindergarten, on May 1st was the senior decision day, and one of the events that the senior class participated in was walking around the elementary schools and going to visit middle school, seeing our old teachers and, the new students that'll be filling our spots. On Friday, BHS Production Club traveled to the Western Auditorium Theater in Rochester and performed Paris Holds the Key, which is from Anastasia, for the Stars of Tomorrow Gala. The BHS Marching Band has started rehearsing and will be performing at the Memorial Day Parade in Albion Strawberry Festival. Batavia Varsity beat Attica to make the finals for the Rotary Tournament, but fell to Notre Dame in the championship. More importantly, Batavia JV beat Oakfield in the championship. The BHS Wind Ensemble and Orchestra both have their final concert on May 20th. The BHS Chorus concert is on May 28th. And the BHS Rock Band concert is on June 4th. And something that I forgot to add, tomorrow, the BHS jazz groups are going to the Lilac Festival in Rochester to perform. So.
All right. Remember last meeting, we talked about your last meeting for June, to get your talent from Mr. Batavia.
Sousaphone, cello, what are you gonna do? Nothing. Not answering the question.
All right. Thank you, Eli.
Thanks, Eli.
All right, next up for reports, we have Mr. Smith for our superintendent's report.
Yeah, so some highlights to share. As I mentioned in my budget presentation, invite the public to meet the candidates tonight, tomorrow night, 6 p.m. at the middle school auditorium. Dan Fisher, former owner of WBTA, has volunteered to moderate the event. It will be recorded but not live streamed, so we will post it on our social media channels later in the week. There will be 2 parts to the forum. The first part will be questions chosen by Mr. Fisher. The second part will be audience submitted questions to Mr. Fisher for the second part of the program, with the goal being done like around 7 o'clock on Tuesday night. We have registration at Robert Morris on Thursday, May 14th from 4 to 5. There's some details on our Facebook page. Registration night this Thursday from 4 to 5 at Robert Morris, which is also the same day as our ribbon cutting ceremony. I'll talk about that next. As Eli mentioned, we had teacher appreciation events last week. We served ice cream throughout our schools. We had some board members attend. These were some pictures taken from the high school and middle school events last week. So thank you to all those staff that participated as we celebrated Teacher Appreciation Week last week. Mr. Batavia, the top 3 were in at the end of April or so, and they presented their checks to our top 3 donors, so that was publicized last month as well. Eli also mentioned the Stars of Tomorrow's a long list there of recipients. I'm not going to read them all. There's a press release being issued, but they attended the Stars of Tomorrow events from Anastasia at the Rochester Theater on Friday night. Lots of recognition from our orchestra, crew, theatrical storytelling to our actors. Various awards that will be forthcoming in a press release, so kudos to our students and our staff on that excellent recognition. Robert Morris Playground is Thursday morning, I think at 10 o'clock, so board members are invited to please come and officially open the Robert Morris Playground. Mock trial, I attended the annual law day last week at the country club for our Batavia Kiwanis Club. Our mock trial team has become a legend, so to speak, and they've done very well in the regional, so they were again recognized last week with the Charles Mancuso Award at the country club. Decision day, one of my favorite days, as Eli mentioned. There's some pictures of our seniors and some little ones there, recognizing them with their college gear on. So that's always a great event. That was last Friday. Batavia Jazz Fest had a wonderful event. I was not able to make it, but they had a wonderful event a couple Saturdays ago in downtown with jazz bands from the area as well. There's our own jazz band there. Eli, you were probably there, right?
Yep.
You playing trombone that night?
Yep.
This was like a really special treat. So a couple weeks ago, I sat at the middle school play. It was fantastic. I sat there with Barb Bowman and Jen Lenve, and they did a Wizard of Oz dinner theater. and it was quite enjoyable. I think Allison, I think you went the next night, so I just want to yeah, the same night I was there. Maggie Warren and her staff and kids did a great job. It was a lot of, a lot of tongue-in-cheek humor. The meeting was great, and the kids really did a fantastic job. So the future is bright for future shows. We also were awarded one of the best communities for music education. This is our third year receiving this award that has been issued as well. So we're proud of our music staff for that award. Upcoming dates, there's a whole list there. Let me just go through some of them with you. This is a must-see event for sure. I would recommend the board come to Special Olympics on June 4th at the Vendetta Stadium. It's all day, and it's a wonderful event. That's on June 4th. We have some concerts coming up, the John Kennedy Mud Run, high school award ceremony, Flag Day celebrations. We're going to have our own retirement recognition here on June 15th. So I would encourage the board to visit as many of those events as possible. And that's what I have. Any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Eli.
Yep.
Next up is our consent grouping. We need a motion to approve the grouping of all consent items. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
By Barbara, do I have a second?
Second.
By Dan. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that brings us to new business, where we will need a motion to approve the resolution for the RIC One Risk Operations Center, known as ROC, to authorize ROC to negotiate data privacy agreements with vendors and third-party contractors on behalf of Batavia City School District. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
By Allison, do I have a second?
Second.
By Corinne. Any discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. And we move right along down to our discussion and other reports. Our administrative reports for curriculum and instruction and business office are posted online. We encourage everyone to take a look at that. Do we have any board goal updates? Or any board member comments? No,
I'd like to
Dan.
share. Yeah, so I went over to John Kennedy and visited there. Just being around the different schools that I've been to over the last several months, one thing that I'm noticing is that our schools are running so well because of the great administrators we have. And thinking about Mr. Kessler and Mrs. Brandt, you know, they make a great team. Mr. Kessler, he had said really one of the biggest compliments, he shared one of the biggest compliments that you can share, and said Mrs. Brandt was one of the best administrators that he's ever had as an assistant, which is really good to hear. Hanging out with them for a little while during the ice cream social, you could just see their teamwork and their camaraderie, their love for the school. Mrs. Brandt, just hearing her heart for Batavia, even though she lives in another community, it was just neat to hear her heart. Learning is the primary goal when students show up, but the heart and level of care for each student was noticeable. Just walking through the hallways, seeing Mr. Rebsey, who's a friend, but also just you know, he's just a fun guy, and seeing him interact. I bumped into. I'm sorry.
Snake Clover, isn't it?
Is he really? I don't know. I'll have to ask
I
him.
think the snake thing in his room. Oh, now the next time you go.
I'll
check
have
that
to
out.
ask him about that, for sure. But I bumped into Nora, one of our newest teachers who grew up in Batavia, and it was just awesome to see her in action, leading her class. And again, at the ice cream social, she was sharing how excited her whole class was that they were getting a new student, and how the whole class was prepared for that student to come in and just to make that transition go well, knowing that it was the end of the school year. I talked to some of the veterans in the building, again, Mr. Rebsey, Mrs. Calandra, and just seeing their passion over all these years. I think both of my sons had Mrs. Calandra, and they're still passionate after all these years, And I just thought, while I was there, I wrote this right after I was there. I thought, if ever I had another job, maybe it would be a teacher. after talking with them, and again, just lastly, I saw an example of how one of our most important schools is working together to create wins for our students. And really, I just see this everywhere I go. It's starting from the leadership down, and from the administrators to the teachers. They're doing a phenomenal job, and it's actually a lot of fun to go visit these schools. So thanks for letting me share.
Thanks, Dan. Any other reports? Any other members?
I also attended the ice cream social for the teacher appreciation, and found that Mr. Kessler had started a vote for the, I think our most popular teacher with little tattoos, that the teachers are gonna vote on each other. And as the teachers would come in, Mr. Madhu was being harassed by Mr. Kessler about how many tattoos he was gonna have to wear the day that they announced it. And I thought it was a lot of fun. It was, not only that these tattoos were being given out, but that I'd have to say every gentleman that came in, he was saying, you're gonna get a lot of these in your packet to have to wear for that day. So he was, so it was a lot of fun, and I appreciated him giving me something to do while I was there. Because last year I just sort of stood around and said hello. This time I got introduced, and it was really nice to see all these teachers, because there are a lot of teachers I don't know. I just, I know their names, but names and faces. So it was a really nice day.
Awesome.
Hour and a half, yeah.
Can I just add the culture within the culture? You've got the student culture, and then you've got the teachers and the administrators, and we got to see firsthand the culture of these adult teachers and how much they appreciate and love working together. And just seeing them in the faculty room laughing and joking, and it was a lot of fun. It was neat to see.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you guys for sharing.
Sure.
All right, so we are going to need a call for executive session. And executive session, we need a motion to move to discuss matters relating to the collective negotiations pursuant to Article 14 of the Civil Service Law, and for the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation for matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation. After executive session, we will not be returning as well. Do I have a motion for executive session?
So moved.
By Alsan, do I have a second?
Second.
By Barbara. All